Hello everyone, good morning to you. What day is this? Tuesday.
The 4th.
Yeah, the 4th?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, 4th. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. I'm going to try to get covered a bunch of questions and try to get on down the road. This week I feel pretty good about being able to do a lot of videos for you and get this online. So let me start with some of these questions and we'll go through. I hope you're all well. I hope that those of you that are in serious trouble are moving yourselves out of this, and certainly you have our help here. We apologize if we a little busy and backed up, but keep hanging in there on yourselves and keep going. I want to recover the, go over the lymphatic system again, but is this first one I grabbed? I thought, oh, I've got to read this because this is good here. This is like Porcio. Hey yo man, Porcio. We had designed by nature or God to adapt to all foods. Oh really? I'm surprised he hasn't seen this in history. Adaptation. Oh really? There's a lot of people, albeit that cannot handle fruit sugar. You know what? This is kind of bullshit stuff, and no offense that, you know, this stuff keeps coming down here. The adaptation, if you haven't looked at the problems man's having in his health issues, if you haven't looked at that, my friend, take a look at that. You're sitting out there in the wilderness and not understanding what's going on here. The genetics in the children, the amount of, out of 5 people, 4 have cancer. Oh, but we've adapted to this kind of food, haven't we? You know, that's insane thinking. This kind of thinking doesn't get anywhere. You know, this is bull crap. Obviously, we have not adapted. And guess what? When you go back to a tropical fruit that matches your physiology, guess what happens? You get well. You don't get well on adapting to high-protein diets and stuff like that. Sorry, same chemistry, same problems. We don't adapt well to those. We have not adapted well. You think we've adapted well. We've stayed aggressive. We've stayed ignorant. Look at the human race on this planet. Most people have their head buried under the sand. They lack spirituality. They lack love. They're herd animals. This is one of the gnarliest planets out there, guys. This isn't heaven on earth, and it never will be. You have to understand where heavens are and how you get there. And you can't get there with these kind of crap type attitudes and stuff. You got to understand what's going on here and how man's walking down the wrong road. If this was true, there wouldn't be any problems with man at all. There wouldn't be any health issues because we've adapted to ice cream. We've adapted to candy. That's crap. And fruit sugar, that's crazy. See, people listen to this fruit sugar. Now, I find that interesting on the news the other night about high fructose corn syrup. You got to read everything. And man, you know, he's so constipated. He's so, I don't know what to say about most humans. But I can tell you, humans have got to lift themselves up out of this this low-level thinking, and it comes from all these low-level diets. You know, you want to act like an animal, you want to be angry and mean or whatever. Most animals are loving and friendly. I don't know, but the eating of meat and the dairy products, no one adapts to that, my friend. Nobody. Fruit sugar, best sugar on the planet. You know, fructose is one of the best sugars on the planet for humans, and we do very well with it. You know, a lot of people just don't understand health or understand anything about that, and I find we get these here. Crazy to think supposed to shed it apart with the teeth. That's a little extreme, poor analogy. Let's see, this is the same Porcio. I enjoy listening to the doc, but when it comes to diet, he's way off. No, I'm not. Not at all. Look at our record of curing people up, healing people around the world from all these problems. Not off, my friend. This is what gets them well. If you don't choose to live on a diet, okay, my expertise is getting you well. After that, you do what you want. But this is what the thing is, man. And I appreciate it, Porcio, but man, you got to come up with this, bro. I mean, come on, man. You got to get rid of this kind of thinking. We are adapted to fruits. This is our way. But you do bring up a good point. We have somewhat adapted to this sort of thing. Somewhat. Still wrecking the kidneys, still tearing up our bodies. But we're surviving. But if you look at the kids, we're just about to terminate the human race. And I've said this before. If it wasn't for those beautiful souls, those beautiful ladies and moms and dads out there raising their children raw and on fruit, and guess what? How many babies are on fruit? And they're accelerating in their health. They're accelerating in their academics. How do you describe all of that, Porcio? Man, come on. Get on, get with it, man. You're still carrying that ball and chain around, man. You got to break that and go for it. He talks about eating fruit, but then says fruit is basically shit. I'm talking about the raising of it, man. The braising of it. Come on, but leaves you with no alternative. Raise better fruit. Move to the tropics. Those are alternatives. You do your very best, man. You get your very best and you use them. We have people that have to buy non-organic, of course. We have people that have to struggle to find fruit, particularly up in the cold climates, you know. But still, on the crap fruit, they do so much better. And yes, we have to instill vegetables with that kind of focus and everything else. I do agree, though, I don't think man could go back to a fruitarian diet for a couple more generations down the road. It's just the way man has adapted in his consciousness. You have to understand this is so far beyond just basic material, positive and negative forces bumping uglies. This is about consciousness and states of consciousness. Like you're in a state of consciousness here. You've got to pull up out of that and get rid of all these states of consciousness and get into pure consciousness. And then there's no questions about things, you know. As far as the teeth that are concerned, we're supposed to kill the animal, cut it up, cook it, and eat it. Man, Porcio, I think your handle here says a little bit about you, man. Doc, have you had much experience with moringa leaf? No, I have not. But you know what? Let me know what you find about that, you know. I'll have more, I'll have them look it up and get more. I've heard of it, of course, but never had a lot of experience with it. But, you know, that's you guys' job. Let's find the best herbs out there, guys, and let's make better formulas, and let's get these people better. You know, we're having a struggle with so much chronic lymph problems, getting people done in a timely manner, you know. We're talking about the quality of fruit out there. It sucks horribly. But when you get the best quality and it tastes good, when you bite into an organic navel orange, it's as sweet as honey. There's no question. This is my food. It's either that or a dead piece of animal meat that's decaying on you and you like that. Or should I say a dead piece of pork. No offense, I'm feeling a little rowdy. I got poisoned the other day, and so yesterday I came out of it. We had water contamination in this town, and I'm feeling just a little bit quirky today. Hey, Ron. Hi, Dr. Morse. Well, I'm always never surprised at what you can do for others, my friend. You know what's neat is what we have done that. Ron, I'll tell you something. It's amazed me. I have x-rays sitting over here where a guy had fractured his upper femur, his right femur. He was a quadriplegic. He had fractured his upper right femur about 12 years before I met him. It healed in a 28-degree angle, bulging his thigh up here and pulling this right leg 2 inches shorter than the left. And my gut had extreme scoliosis to the right. The 11th month, and I've told you about this case before, but I have the x-rays, and Fox News has filmed those x-rays. They couldn't believe it. I would like to put some of those stories that the Fox News, ABC News, some of these newscasts have done on us. I would really like to get that up for you, and I'm going to attempt to do that. I've got them in VHS format. You know, that's a long time ago, so I got to find a way to get them up on the YouTube for you, and you can see kind of, even when the state came after me originally and made a lot of news, of course, I had news media around me all the time because, you know, they wanted to go after me, put me in jail and everything else. But, yeah, I think that would, you're a terrific friend to have when someone needs any thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I tell you what, scary physical condition. And this is the problem out there, Ron. You bring up a good point. There's so many scary things out there. There's so many people hurting. But I want you all to remember this, that I spent a lot of years in academics. That's kind of why I can get on the flip side and say, well, not so much, because then we get confused. You know, but the bottom line here, when you see, oh, I was going to tell you that story. In the 11th month, his leg pulled itself straight on its own, and his back pulled itself straight on its own. Now, how do you explain that power of the body to pull an old fracture that's already healed, pull it straight? I mean, I don't know. When I saw that, and a few other ones that we've had that's been on the extreme, I realized that, my God, and when I was up on 6 months on the oranges, I realized the power that the body had to heal itself, but I didn't have a clue it was that high. And I had the herbs, of course, with that case as well, that I can tell you the things we can do, the things you guys can do. I'm excited about this for you guys, because just take what, the whole idea, and I've said this before, is that us guys that have been there, we work it out, we do what we can, and then you say, here, take this and run with it. And that's what I want to do, is take this and run with it. You guys take off, and how we can better deal with healing crisis, how we can better deal with better detoxification, how we can get those kidneys filtering faster. These should be some of these questions, Porco, not this bull crap stuff that, we've adapted to the type of diets that we have. Yeah, right. Come on, man. I mean, that's not even a legitimate question. Take a look at what adaptation has done to the humans. It's destroyed our health issues. And how do we get them back? We go on the fruits and the vegetables again. This is world acclaim, because this is not even a question, man. So it's a sad thing. But anyway, Ron, thanks for all the input here. I have a friend whose daughter has celiac. What herbs should be using to clear up this crazy condition? I know that you have the answer for that. Thanks so much ahead of time you want. Thanks, Ronald. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. Well, you know what? You get into stomach and bowels, number whatever they need. Go to the Lymphatic 1 capsules, because you want to draw and pull on that bowel wall. I do the GI broom, circulate through that GI broom, clean that gut up really well. At the same time, where do we find the decay of things? We find it more on the acid side than the base side, of course. Very rarely do you get pHs up around 14, 12. I'm talking systemically here. We find more acidosis by far. Of course we do. Now, allopathically, of course, they think the opposite for some reason. But then I was watching something last night, and it was talking about carbon print. It was about Mars, and they found water, but they didn't find enough carbon, complex carbon to make for complex structure. Meaning, we're carbon people, and yet allopathy keeps focusing on nitrogen, and that's one of our biggest problems. That's one of our biggest situations, is when you get into the acid side of chemistry. But you clean that up, but go into the kidneys and the adrenal glands and move the lymph system. Remember, the lymph system is that one magic fluid that most people just know it as the lymph system. When they get stiff and sore, they look for a massage therapist. When they get pain, they look for an acupuncturist or a chiropractor. In other words, you're looking for a remedy from lymphatic problems. And the problem is that all these forms of therapeutic modalities are terrific. Unbelievable what I've seen chiropractics do. Massage therapists, a good one, can really open up some doors. Some good acupuncturists. But the reality is that someday you've got to go in and remove the obstruction, the acids that are causing the pain, that are causing the lymph, that's causing the stiffness and the tightness and the pulling on the spine. We've got to go in and deal with that system. It's been a system that's been ignored. I can't understand why. It's obviously the predominant system of the body, immune/sewer system. So always know that when you have lymphatic problems, you have it from head to toe. Just because you're unaware of it, a lot of people can be backed up lymphatically and not have arthritis yet. And that's when you start to notice those pains in the joints and things. This becomes a chronic issue, because this has been years in the making. So it takes a little while to unwind that. I think what's neat is that we can unwind this so much faster than we created it. Thank you, God. Because imagine having to take 20, 30, 40 years to unwind to a point where you're free of pain and stuff. That'd be a nightmare. So there is some neat stuff here. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate that, man. Oh, 32 arms. Hey, man. Is that a joint you're smoking there? I have to avoid any herbs while taking calcium, channel blockers, and beta blockers. No, not really. Can I use hawthorn and ginkgo? And will they be safe? The allopath has weird stuff about those, but to be honest with you, I've used all these herbs, people full bore on them, but reality is that if you're using a calcium channel blocker or a beta blocker, I can tell you're dealing with high blood pressure issues, you're dealing with kidney problems, you could also be dealing with some neurological, like atrial fibrillation or something like that, go into the adrenal glands. Always check your parathyroid, make sure you're utilizing calcium. Always do that, because that's important to nerve performance and everything else. at the same time, go to those adrenals. That's the autonomic nervous system, and really start getting those adrenals up so you can trip the kidneys, and then everybody can come down, and you don't need no beta blockers. You know, we don't really have anybody that's on these beta blockers or calcium channel blockers for over a few weeks at the very most, and that's like what's taking you so long. Now, so these are things that you should be able to get right off real quick. These very important to understand that these things need to be, the cause of this problem needs to be addressed so you don't lose your kidneys in the future. And of course that whole scenario does create plaquing or calcifications, which creates obstructions, which creates blood flow problems, and blah, 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 blah. It always originates, interesting enough, isn't it? It always originates back at the adrenal glands. And I mean back at the kidneys as well. Oh good, we got some good time here. Oh, are these your eyes? If these are your eyes, do you like the canine tooth thing? I mean, the idea that we have these canines that are big enough to rip open flesh is just, that's like a sleeping soul that just is living with the herd animals and not thinking much outside of the box. That's too bad. Well, if this is your eyes, you got skin going on, you got a lot of lymph, you got a lot of lymph nodes swollen all through you. That skin, you're blocked subcutaneously. If this is a, let me see, this looks like a right eye. It's kind of hard for me to tell here. If this is a right eye, definitely kidneys, and if it's a left eye, kidneys. So what you got going is groin and kidneys, either side, groin or kidneys. Also, there's a little prostate or female if it's a left eye. If it's a right eye, probably going on with the hip or the appendix. But you've got a lot of, your sinuses are backed up. See all the white in that blue eye? That's your lymphatic system there, man. So 32 arms, you really got to tear on that lymph system. The skin is real weak. Probably going to go to the thyroid because you've got to get up enough temperature to sweat there to get that skin opened up, because right under the skin, you're real blocked. So this is a case when you get real blocked like this under the skin and you start opening up these doors, that's when you could get skin rashes, you could get pimples, you could get, you know, acne, things like that that's coming out of you. These are acids and waste coming out of the skin. It is possible that you could experience that a little bit because you're so backed up subcutaneously, if indeed these are your eyes. But I can see them pretty good. Good shot there, man. You guys are, I'm proud of every one of you. I want you to know that. You guys are something else. I really respect every one of you. We're all just trying to help everyone and help the world, you know, and so everybody's got opinions and I respect all of them, but don't get upset if I get a little going here. You know, after the length of time I've been in this field, you would get a little out there sometime. This is Carol. Hey, Carol Pilgrim. All right, first I want to say how much I enjoy. Oh, thanks. I hope you guys enjoy these. I have fun doing them, and it's been a lot of years, but I don't have any really modus operandi except putting healers everywhere on this planet. It is time. I stand for truth, even though some might think the word Hilleron would make sense. But I stand for truth and health, and I've always done that. And you'll see that this is what we always stand for, and I'm always going to stand for truth. I'm going to shove it down the throat of these people because this area is stagnant spiritually. It's growing in some ways, but we've got to bring life into this world. There's so many suffering souls that have been kept suppressed, and it's time we open up the doors of fresh air of consciousness and happiness and joy. We got to have fun and get our joy back. All the government should seek to make everybody happy, and then, of course, they stay in power longer. All right. I would really appreciate your advice on my dad's medical situation. His name is Rex. Hey, Rex, and he will be 71 years old tomorrow. Well, that's pretty cool. This was dated December 2nd. December 3rd. Ho, ho, ho. Happy birthday to my dad. Yeah, happy birthday, Rex. He is currently taking valproic acid 3 times a day, 500 milligrams in the morning and 250 milligrams at lunch and supper for a total of 1,000 milligrams a day. Why is he doing that for? This has been prescribed to control seizures that he started having over a year ago. Interesting how they prescribe an acid for those things, isn't it? Well, I can tell you this. what you want to do, you got to detoxify your dad. I give him we've got a formula that I call neuromuscular spasms. When we change the label, it's just going to be simple antispasmodic. It's an antispasmodic. So I'd get him on that one, and get him on that on a regimen dosage. That way these seizures can be controlled through this antispasmodic. At the same time, pick his adrenals. 71, he's probably walking down kidney and adrenal failure. So get his adrenals up there so he's getting better neurotransmitters. Better neurotransmitters runs across that track real well. The other thing is check the parathyroid, because low calcium utilization can create seizures as well. The calcium-magnesium balance can be off. You can seize with that. So definitely want to look at the parathyroid, look at his fingernails, see if he's bruising easy, things like this. And then go after that parathyroid with a glandular. I would do 1-3 times a day, pop that up, get the adrenals up with a glandular maybe, get on the kidneys, start detoxifying your dad. Upper circ, brain and nerve, that's also an antispasmodic as well. It'll start getting blood flowing up into the head and all this thing. So look at that. With the adrenals, you're getting in better mineral utilization or balance. With the parathyroid, you're getting calcium utilization. All of this is good. And bringing up the adrenals, you also get the neurotransmitters. In the head, you get transmitters and serotonins, blah, 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 blah. So go after your dad in that way. I'd have to see his whole case, but those would be the areas that I would work on pronto. According to the docs, they discovered through a brain scan that he had many strokes and that the seizures are a result of that. Well, again, upper circ and brain and nerve. Upper circ is going to move blood aggressively in the head, and I love it for this reason. That's why you get hair growth with upper circulation. Upper circ is just one of the great formulas that I love, because it moves blood aggressively in the head. It'll increase new vascular pathways. If you've had a stroke and one of your vascular pathways is blocked, then you're going to get better pathways with the vascular system. But we're talking about a neurological issue here, not a blood issue. And it's possible, of course, there's been nerve damage from the stroke, so obviously you want that brain and nerve formula with that. That'll help regenerate any brain damage that's caused to that. If he's having these mini strokes, then they call TIAs, then of course he's up for a heart attack as well. So again, this is the lymphatic system creating occlusions of cholesterol or calcium within the wall of the arteries. You have to go in and move that lymph system. At the same time, what you could do is use cayenne garlic. Now, we have a cayenne garlic combo with butcher's broom and some other herbs that is a kind of rotor-rooter to kind of open up that vascular system. I would keep your dad on that one. For sure. I would do probably 2 or 3 times a day. It's a low dose of cayenne. It's organic, so it's about 20,000, 25,000 heat units. What this will do, it'll act like niacin or niacinamide, and it might not be a bad take to do a little niacinamide with that and open up those vascular walls and get blood moving more aggressively in the body. I would probably do that, of course, since he's post-TIA probably, so you want to do that, is get that blood rushing more. So you do cayenne garlic, you do upper circulation, brain and nerve, antispasmodic. And you're going after the cause of this thing. You're going after the kidneys, the adrenals, the lymph system, clean up his bowels. Absolutely. You're going to go into your dad and you're going to clean him up, and at 71, you'll stack years onto it, or it's just a matter of when. And that's not good. 71 years old isn't that old. And so, Rex, you really got to get, it's going to be a big change at 71 of diet, but you're going to open up all these pathways. We've seen 90% occluded carotids and everything else open right up. So it might take you about 6 months, but you can open all this up, my friend, and you'll be good. And you can repair any nerve damage that's been there. During a seizure, his body tenses, he kind of zones out, clenches it's never any good. You know, all these problems, it's just sad people have to go through these sort of things. I just, sad stuff, I know. And of course, each time you seize, you could also lose some part of memory or some part of functions like writing or something. I knew a guy once, we got him finally out of seizures, but he was seizing all the time. He was on Dilantin, but he still seized. And every time he'd lose, he could print, but he wrote his, lost his ability to do cursive. So, you know, you just never know what part of the brain, but you can rebuild. You can clean and rebuild. That's the beauty of creation. It is a building and a destroying. It's got both sides of the fence here, and you can rely on the positive building side here in these cases, you know, to bring him out of this. That's sure what I would do. My dad is retired auto body repairman painter. Okay, so here's a big problem. A big problem, and that is petrotoxicity, and that's just what your dad is into, heavy petrotoxicity, somewhat of a neurotoxin too, so it suppresses the nervous system and can make for spasticity. Just that alone, paint, paint thinners, turpentine, all these things like that he's been into. Gnarly, nasty, not good, very toxic. So your dad's got a lot. System is possibly heavy loaded with toxins. You're right on, sweetheart, right on. Now, he's suffering from a hernia. Okay, so look at this. Let's look at this. Parathyroid calcium utilization. Here we go. And here's a good clue. He has a hernia, meaning that his connective tissue is giving way. So he has a herniated tissue. Well, this can happen in the vascular walls and create aneurysms. This is a big issue. So you've got to get that parathyroid up, I can tell you right off. Very, very important with your dad here. The doctors won't operate due to risk with him having a seizure. Absolutely, but we can strengthen that. He needs to relax anyway, so while he's relaxing, let's strengthen up. I'll definitely use the bones for him in this case, but parathyroid is key essential. At the same time, we're moving these acids out of these tissues and getting those kidneys filtering again. Some good news is that I have introduced him to juicing apples, carrots, lemons, ginger, cucumber, celery, trying different variations. This is a big change. Absolutely. I really appreciate the recommendation. Oh, you got it, man. Merry Christmas and God bless. Same here, Carol Pilgrim. Absolutely, honey. You get your dad back and he'll be a healthy dude the rest of his life. And that's what I'm talking about. We can take these guys and gals that are suffering and bring them back. And that's really cool. I love that stuff. Seen a lot of this, honey, and you can get this cleaned up and your dad will be doing good. This is Natalie. Hi, Natalie. Adrenal fatigue, mother of two. Wow. Just a mother of two is an amazing feat right there. Hello, Dr. Morse. I'm a 24-year-old mom of two. Did they ever teach you in school what causes those things, honey? I have a mom of two with a 7-month-old. Isn't that cute? 7-month and a 2-year-old. Boy, you get your hands full. I suffered with panic disorder for around 4 years. Oh, wow. I got rid of it by cutting out any junk food. I believe as a result, I am now suffering from adrenal fatigue. I think you're right on. And I think at 24 years old, you have definitely big-time genetics in the adrenals. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about that, guys. And you have to realize this is something we've looked at here. I have no agenda but God. That's it. I have no agenda but God. You can take everything away I've got, but God is my source. And I can only tell you that there's just so much of this in genetics, and you're seeing all the young people. What do you think about the mom that took her little, what was she, 11, 12, 13 out of the hospital because she was on chemotherapy? Unfortunately, she should have waited that day because she has a subclavian port. Now, whether that port would be removed anyway, they'd probably send her home with it anyway. So she needs to find a physician to pull that port out in Mexico or wherever she went. But this is a good example of what's going down. Oh, the cops, this girl could die with any day now. This is the kind of bullshit hype that sends me out to Never Never Land, and we need to get control of this, because this is a society gone stupid. This is a society gone mad. The reason the mom took the girl out was obvious. Notice the girl had lost her arm from infection from what? Chemotherapy. Chances are, guys, they started down here giving her chemo, not in the aorta. This tube she's got is going right in her aorta. Now, I had a hospital administrator at one of my classes years ago, and he said to me, do you know anything about aortic aneurysms post-chemo? And I said, no. And he said, well, a high percentage of people die from aortic aneurysm from post-chemo. Why? Chemo is an acid, an extreme acid given to humans. These guys need to go to jail. These guys are wacko. They were killing her daughter. She saw that. She wanted to get her daughter and save her daughter. We have a society that says, no, 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 we want to kill your kids. Come on, bring them in. Magic elixir, chemo, magic elixir. And look at the news media. The news media is right into this. Oh, we got to get this little girl. We got to save her life. No, her mom's saving her life right now. And that's the problem. Her mom needs to take her out of this country into another country, get her well, and then bring her back and stick her in front of the camera and say, this is why I took my daughter out of here. Because they were killing her. She already lost part of her arm. And this is a big, serious problem. And I'm down on these guys. These guys need to go to jail instead of being, oh, look, this wonder drug chemo. This is the whole facade. This is the world bankers. This is the Rockefeller. This is that whole consciousness get a hold of the sleeping souls. We'll take all their money. We'll kill them, and then we'll take their children's money. I mean, this is insane. This is insane, and we're buying right into that. The poor people of this country and around the world are buying right into these wacko mad scientists that nothing's based on fact. I look at this stuff and people say science, science, science. Take a look at medical doctors. They're the biggest killer of humans on the planet. What, for science? What kind of science? Pseudoscience, insane science. And yet people praise academics. I find that totally amazing on this planet. This planet is lost, and this planet needs to be found again. Unbelievable. Sorry about that, honey, but just talking about your children reminded me of this poor mom that trying to save her 11 or 12-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl. Man, I don't blame her. The problem is with us, not with her. Mom's trying to save her daughter. And I tell you, I don't blame her, Mom. I don't blame her, Mom. Matter of fact, they should be sued for this. But the thing is, we need you chemists to come aboard and start telling the truth about chemistry and that you don't give acids in an acid condition. Come on. It's up to our scientific community to stand up with their cojones in their hands and start telling the truth, unless they don't know it. They probably don't know it. Sorry, honey. Sorry, so she's got a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. She has panic disorders, definitely the adrenal glands. My energy is very up and down throughout the day, and I know that a detox would be suggested to me, but I don't think I can handle another detox right now. Well, then build a little bit. Stay with your raw, though, but build, strengthen. And in this case, I'm going to say glandulars for sure. I would definitely use adrenal glandular, but let's see what else is going on. And you see if there's any connecting links to that. How about pituitary? You know, sometimes when the adrenals are suppressed a lot, the pituitary. Now, you've had 2 kids, so you probably don't have much female problems, but your menses is out of balance, things like that, that can bring us up to the pituitary. So you want to take a look at other factors that could control the adrenals. But I can tell you, 24 years old, sweetheart, you're probably already genetically compromised with the adrenals. That's just what we've seen through the years looking at this. And so it's something that you want to take care of. There's no question about it. I did a detox with my fiance, and I was having terrible anxiety and fatigue. Well, there's detox and there's detox. There's detox and there's detox. And I think that we are one of the better detoxifiers in the world. And I think it's because we support all the glands. We understand the role of the kidneys. We have set this up. And through the years, I've tried to always make it better, easier, more comfortable on people. Because I've learned through doing people with these things too. You know, what I needed to do to support their weaknesses while they're going through detox. Absolutely. I've had a lot of years of doing this, trying to work out the best ways to detox people. I mean, wouldn't that be the natural rhythm? We all should be working together to find better ways to detox, deeper detox, more comfortable detox. But still, there's going to be healing crises, and there's just nothing you can do about them. You know, you've got to let those healing crises come, and don't be afraid of them. Rejoice with them, because they mean on the other side you're going to be better. So, you know, I'm always rejoicing after a healing crisis, because I know I just accomplished a big deal for my body to get well. So I look for them when I do them, and I don't have them much anymore, but and I am aware it's because of my weaknesses. I already am tired enough and don't want to do a sort of, well, do a combination where you're building, you're doing the adrenals, you're putting on the kidneys. You can do all that together, sweetheart, and then you can power up. Use the God's blend or something like that to power up, a superfood blend. There's a lot of ways you can do that. I was taking the superfood blend, but it didn't give me any noticeable. Wow, so you really are having some real chronic adrenals, so you got to get on a glandular then. You get on at least the 200s. With you, how low is your blood pressure? That's something you haven't mentioned here. But if you have real chronic adrenal fatigue or weaknesses, then you have real low blood pressure. If you have within the 80s and 90s, then you can do the 400 adrenals, a muscle test on you, because you could have some chemical toxicity too. You don't know what was in the mom and all this, so you don't know whether you have some neurotoxins that's suppressing your nervous system as well. So there is you've got to do the raw, though. You've got to get into the all raw and let your body carry you through this. Pop up those adrenals and stuff. Call in here and have someone help you, honey. I haven't yet tried the adrenal for me, and I'm thinking I should. Yeah, no kidding. I'd have been on that a while back, but I am very determined to get better. Well, get better, sweetheart, but here's the problem. You've got 2 little ones. You've got 2 little ones. You've got a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. So your problem is going to be their problem. I mean, that's a fact. But their problem is going to be weaker than your problem. That's a fact. So then you've got their fathers on top of that. So with the genetics of the young people, these babies are serious trouble. So I want you to start thinking about your babies and how you can help them build their adrenal glands, how you can use fruit diets, how you can use herbs on these, how you can start developing these babies while they're young, so when they get your age, they don't have these problems. Because this is what I'd be thinking about, not only the mom, but I'd be thinking about the babies. I can't be having anxiety attacks and being even more tired. Well, if you bump up your adrenals, that'll help you that way. I do the brain and nerve as well. And that brain and nerve will start strengthening your nervous system. And the adrenals will help bring up the neurotransmitters. So you're good. You know, there's a lot of good things you can do in detox. And not just detox, in rebuilding and strengthening. Because for me, detox is that. The reason one detoxes is to strengthen and to rebuild. It's not just a detox. The detox is the doorway. It's the magic road. It is the magic road to wellness. All life does it on this planet. Nature does it. And this planet is probably about to detox some humanoids off of it. I mean, you look around. I am very overwhelmed. Well, just relax, sweetheart. I will help you through that. I have been having a very low stress tolerance lately, and I don't want to be this person. It's not who I am. I understand that. I had left kidney pain. Case closed. I can tell you, I already know where your problems are, sweetheart. You've got to address your kidneys and adrenals. This whole system of yours is down. So it isn't detox. It's a process of strengthening and rebuilding. At the same time, your body's going to clean itself out. Because remember, you can't rebuild unless you get rid of that which is suppressing. Now, with you, there's genetic thinking involved here, no question. And that genetic thinking of cells comes out of that whole, how should I say this? The decline of consciousness of cells. And so you're introduced, and this comes from dead food eating. Porco was talking about that. Haven't we adapted to that? Porco, here's a good example. What are you going to do with this one? So this is the problem here. We've adapted all right, and now we're in serious trouble because we didn't realize that food wasn't good for us. You know, you can't make the human species into something it's not. Now, you see some genetic adaptation. It's slow, but look at the Alaskans. Alaskans are getting shorter GI tracts because of all the meat eating. That's not good. Their age is not good. Things aren't good here. You've got to go back to what is the human species, what type of food should it be eating, that sort of thing. And I can tell you, not too many animals can handle the level of protein even man is eating. Omnivores, a good example, start giving your dog nothing but protein, let me show you. He'll start getting rectal bleeding, he'll start getting a lot of problems because even omnivores can't handle high protein diets. And again, on TV the other day was just talking about the grizzly bear diet being 65% sage grass and all this other stuff. And it was like, well, I'm glad you're talking about it because most people think bears are carnivores. They're not carnivores, they're omnivores. And this is the kind of misguided thinking that's going on out there. And it's being fed by National Geographic, which is one of my favorite people. It's being fed by some of these people who are giving misinformation at times. And it's feeding into the consciousness of man. And unfortunately, we need to feed truth into the consciousness of man, not lies. Okay, deaf kidney pain. Well, honey, you are in trouble. You've got to get your, because you remember if your adrenals are down, so is your kidneys. They sit on top, so you really got to fix this one, sweetheart. And I still want you to think about the babies. You know, fix your adrenals and fix your kidneys here so you can get on top of this, sweetheart, or you're going to have some serious troubles here. I don't want to go that way. I have no help with my kids. Look at that. Well, you don't want to get dysfunctional. Detox should be empowering. Right detox should be empowering. And not detox in the sense I'm just going to clean myself out. And regeneration and rebuilding. That should be an energetic move. Once in a while you might feel down, but you go on raw, the only crash you have, especially if you support the adrenals with glandulars, you're not going to have much of a crash, if any. Those that have crashes are those that go on water fast or things like this, or they go on raw foods and they're not supporting their adrenals. And so they do get fatigued because of the meat and the neurotransmitters and all the meat. I mean, you've got to realize what man's been consuming in his diet. Not just the proteins, but neurotransmitters. And this has weakened his neurotransmitters in his body, just like what this poor soul's dealing with here. And this is why we're having neurotransmitter problem big time. Blood pressures are in the dumps, and these baby blood pressures are in the 70s and 80s. They can't even get their heads up. I mean, look at the neurological problems in the children. Got a little bit, do we? See, you understand where we're at. We're at kidney failure. We're at adrenals. We're at GI tract problems. Cancer, #1 for generations, GI tract. So we are in serious trouble in these tissues, and we have to rebuild these tissues. Well, if we adapted to the food, we shouldn't have this problem, should we, Porco? No, we have not adapted. You can only adapt so much, man, to things that are totally contraindicated to wellness. They're contraindicative, and they will always be contraindicative to wellness. They were back in Jesus' time. If you hadn't noticed, go back and study Jesus and the Essenes and those people he was associated with, the agnostics, and understand what they learned about raw foods. This is not something new. This is something that's been way back in Jesus' time, Buddha's time. Keep on going back, baby, because this has been man's problem. He's walked down the wrong path of diets, and his consciousness has suffered from it. Now he is letting people like wacko presidents control him. I have no help with my kids. I feel sorry for you, but you don't have to be tired to do this, sweetheart. You don't have to be too tired to go through detox. You can support all that, have energy to detox. You have energy, more energy for the kids, and so I would do it in that way. So keep going, sweetheart. I appreciate your comments, Natalie. You just keep going, sweetheart. Oh, thanks. Boy, my time's almost out, guys. This is AEN Brewer. I just got your book. Oh, thanks. I appreciate you guys. You know, I need to get in there. Probably they've been after me for several years to just change it up a little bit. I really don't. The only part I want to change is distilled water, because we're so acidic that I don't even, distilled water I don't even think of anymore. I'm looking for something from spring water or something, but there's not much I would change in it. But they want me to change it so they can do the second printing, but I don't know. I'm not good at those things. It took me a lot of years to write that. Then I finally decided maybe I should write a book, and then, you know, it's a lot of work. And I write a lot of other things. We have manuals here. We've got all kinds of things to help you with how to take the herbs. We've got manuals. We've had protocol manuals before. We're upgrading those so you can have them more for practitioners. But we'll have protocol books for you. So when you have a case of something, you can go and look at it, and you can see what the protocol is going to be for that case. And so we're going to do that to help you out. We've had them out before, but we ran out of them. So we're tweaking it up. So we got a lot going on here. That's why we're so busy. There's so much going on. And so, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. AEN. I don't know. I'm not good at that. What a gift to them. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate it so much. I hope this is the golden age, because you know what? We need to impart truth and honesty and integrity. And another one is humility. You know, I learned it all, even talking to you guys. The other day I kind of got off with that one guy with the canine, you know, and I just had to take it off and get it out of there. I just, every day we fight that ego, you know, and you just have to keep it in check as much as you can, because this isn't about ego. This isn't about the mind. You know, this is about God, consciousness, beauty, love, joy. The negative forces are ruled long enough. So we need to swing it around to the other side. Asking ye shall receive. I have been asking God, the universe, for direction, for healing. About your YouTube. Thanks. I appreciate that. Appreciate that so much. That's the only reason we have this YouTube, is to help you guys. And then I have an even bigger agenda. I want you guys to become healers yourselves. I really think that this world needs thousands and thousands of you beautiful souls out there, bringing the light into the darkness here and raising the consciousness up. And just helping those suffering souls, and just help the planet, you know, at a certain level. And for you spiritual guys, this is your time to get advanced as you can. This is a good time for you to learn how to knock off the karma and how you can get into the much higher worlds in this lifetime. Because, you know, talking on the spiritual side, I know some of you really don't like that, but yeah, there's another reason for you spiritual guys are awakening right now. You notice all you guys on YouTube, most of you guys are very spiritual. You're opening up. You've been this lifetime developing your ability to see things. You guys are just awakening up, and that's what this is about. For you guys to wake up and to begin to journey beyond this little atmospheric nothingness of creation here, in this little drama here that's gone when you remove your attention from it. This is just the playground, guys, and waking up to who you are and the beauty and joy that you can have becoming a God man or a God woman, however you look at that, and just that means a person that opens their lives up to that force, that becomes a channel for that force, and they step out of the way, you know. And by stepping out of the way in the ego, they become the force themselves. You know, that ego separates us. Once we set that ego aside, there's no separation between us. And that's the beauty of that. And so important for us to learn that and to always put that ego to the side. When we make an ego statement, stop it. I feel like over the years I have been collecting pieces of information that's just made sense to me. Well, I hope I can put that all together. I've always felt that I've had that ability to put all the pieces together. And you guys do too, but keep developing your ability to go beyond pieces. And always become the observer more of life instead of the thinker. And becoming the observer, you see so much more. Thought loses you. And pretty soon you don't even know who you are. You're unhappy. You're separated from yourself. At least you perceive yourself that way. You see yourself as a little humanoid on a rock spinning through space with all kinds of criminal activity going on from the governments. I mean, look at all this. Look at Morsi. Look at all this stuff out there. I mean, it's like, oh my God, right in front of the world. Well, this is a test, isn't it, of the spiritual forces coming in versus the negative forces? But creation forces, I guess you could say. Because there's nothing wrong with creation. That's why it exists. Something for God to do. But you have to have those cycles where you have the positive coming in, and that's what we need. The golden age, as someone said. The positive cycles. But I don't think you're going to see that for some people. On the other hand, you're going to see the destruction and more destruction yet. It's not done yet. I have to tell you guys. We're headed for some serious trouble. But on that process of breaking down, you have rebirth. And that's what's going on here. And you guys are rebirthing yourselves. That's why you guys are going to survive way beyond this. Look at just look at the cancer rate alone is going to wipe off most people if they don't change, and that includes the Rockefellers themselves. It's just going to, and all these people that are blocking this information to the masses, they're going to die from it too. You know, karma, and I wouldn't want that kind of karma. I'll tell you, it's not good karma. Souls think they don't have anything to worry about, and they don't realize that there's only one individual that dishes that out, and it is man. Is giving me the support to keep going on this earth, which is actually helping me to get over the training and brainwashing. Exactly. I mean, there's so much brainwashing. I mean, that's why we think we know truth. You know, we think we know. That's why years ago I finally said, you know, I just got to realize that I don't know anything. That probably most of what I learned isn't even true. And so I had to kind of clean the house there and try to look at life then for what it is and see what actually is as opposed to what I was taught. You know, because again, teaching academics, they come out of books, and these books come from other people who go on journeys, and these people might not even have it right. I find a lot of people that write books don't even know their butt from a hole in the ground, but they write books. You know, and for some, there's the, you know, they're trying to carve a living. So it's always said, if you want to write a book, find a subject, go study it, and then write a book on it. And I'm sure some books are that way. You see this in herbology all the time, these copycat herb books, where they echo things like lobelia is bad for you. Still see that once in a while. It's like, oh, get over it. That was a case that was diminished years and years and years ago. But again, this propaganda is carried forward. People fall into that belief system, and I don't know why. But we do. And so you're right on. This is another beautiful soul awakening here. Obviously, it's her time, his time to waken up here. I feel like over the years I have been collecting pieces, that drugs may be pharmaceuticals or chemicals and are not to be ingested. Yeah, no kidding. It's like this poor little girl, you know, their mom taking her out because of the chemo. Already lost half her arm from infection. Now, what could cause infection in the allopathic community? Now, when I was a kid, if I got sick, I was taken to Dr. Mack's. Anyways, when I got to Dr. Mack's office, I always got a shot. Didn't you? You know what? We didn't go as farmers too much, but my fondest memories of a medical doctor is a shot in the friggin' arm. You know why? Because they're insane. They're always thinking about infections of microbes and things like this, not about acids and not about their destruction of tissue. And what they're trying to accomplish is all wrong. It's an oxymoron. It's a whole system wobbling out of balance. Time? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so give me 5 minutes. Is this by phone?
No, here.
Okay, give me 5 minutes. I'll finish up and I'll be done.
All right.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry about that. I got to run. Another saying I have attempted to follow is physician heal thyself. And that's exactly right. I'm no Hippocratean, you know, where let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. The physician within, heal thyself. Gosh, I got so many beautiful questions from all you guys, and I'm starved for time. But I will I will, I promise. I'll catch up one of these days, but you're probably not going to like the long videos. So thank you so much. And I love you all so much, you know that. And that there's so much, there's a lot of spiritual beings, a lot of ascended masters. Those are spiritual beings that have went on, that still hang around in the arena of these lower worlds, helping others. And so you're going to see a lot of that more and more and more. So always watch your dreams, because a lot of us are active in your dreams to help you. A lot of us are active on all levels to help you. And so just realize that we're all here to help you to grow spiritually, to love one another, to set that ego to the side, and to honor other people and see everything as God. If you get to the point where you can see everything as God and know everything is connected, it helps to lift that consciousness and to have that universal mind experience, cosmic consciousness they call it, Christ consciousness. There's a lot of names for it. In Hinduism, there's a lot of names, the bliss plane, there's a lot of names for that. But that's when you really see that everything really comes out of the one, and that everything is indeed the one experiencing itself in individualities. And that's the beauty of it all. So let's all have a group hug this morning. And I love you all. Hope we'll get this up for you today. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Thank you.